estamos de volta depois deste intervalo para dar as boas-vindas aos nossos convidados desta noite. E é um programa muito, muito especial. Porquê? Porque os nossos convidados têm fãs à volta do mundo. São milhões que já viram o seu trabalho através das redes sociais, através do seu canal no YouTube, enfim. São solicitados para atuar quase toda a semana em toda a parte. São meus amigos, estão aqui para sentarem-se no sofá da Hora Quente. Conosco, The Portuguese Kids, Derek, Al e Brian. Hey, Derek.
Hey, how are you?
Bem-vindo, senhor.
Obrigado, obrigado.
Al, bem-vindo. Brian, bem-vindo.
Obrigado.
Portanto, temos o de Melo, o Sardinha e o Martins.
E Martins.
É? Vamos fazer isso em português ou em inglês?
Um pouco de dois, mas mais inglês do que português.
Half and half.
Half and half, just
Half
like my
and half.
café.
Sure.
Traçado, não é?
Is this for me?
Traçado. Yes, it is. You
Sorry,
can
guys.
try it. It's the best aguardente we have.
Oh,
Yeah? We forgot the ardente part, the aguas part. All right, gentlemen. The Portuguese, you guys are everywhere. You are the best thing since papo secos com manteiga e queijo.
wow, that's a serious statement.
Keep that quote.
I didn't say the cheese.
No, yeah, the cheese would.
I don't know if you got the São
You
Jorge
gotta give us
status yet.
something to look forward to. It's another goal.
Something
We're gonna
about
pop
that
six,
cheese.
now we're
It's
gonna
the
get
goal.
cheese.
Now, to be a little serious, guys, did you guys ever think that your comedy would take off as much as it has?
No, not in the beginning, especially because in the beginning you're just messing around. You know, we're filming in our parents' basement, and you know, back then it was just for fun. But I think, you know, after Portuguese and I Know It like started getting like really people started calling us like from all over the world to do shows. That's when I realized that, you know, like we might have something pretty big here, and that's when we started to, you know, really take this serious, and we started to, you know, how can we go full time? How can we quit our jobs? And it took some work, but you know, we did that. We reached that goal, you know. Now, so that's the pop six part. So the cage,
Now, you guys are lifetime friends, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
We grew up
we're-
in the same neighborhood.
yep.
So you guys grew up together, and you took comedy more seriously, but this is something you've been doing all your life, no?
yeah. I mean, I think we all of us had this kind of this funny bone in us that was just always on. And even as kids, we were always a little bit silly. You know, I remember doing stuff like that as a kid growing up, making fun of my mom and mimicking people and stuff. And you got to laugh from it. And when you have that comedy bone in you, that when you hear that laughter, it's like a drug, you know. So we all kind of shared that feeling.
Share that drug.
Happy kids.
Yeah.
Happy kids.
Happy kids.
Inside
So I think
joke,
we were just
basically.
always drawn to each other. We all kind of we were on that same wavelength.
Excellent.
So
So
even
who-
within the people that we knew growing up, we were always a little smaller group. that
Even in the circle of friends, I remember being little, and you always had the jerk in the group. He was our friend, but he was a jerk. Which one of you are the...
Probably.
Man.
Oh
That would
man.
have to be Danny, our sound guy.
Yeah. He's,
He's not
because
here.
he's not here,
he's not here.
we will
How
say it's
convenient.
Danny. Wink.
Well, there's multiple reasons, right? You know, he's a Port fan, so
He's a
I'm
Port
sorry.
fan. Yeah, that's-
He's the instigator. He doesn't do sound for us as much. He settled down a little bit, but we have Tyler. Tyler Luz, he does our sound now, and he's pretty much, we beat up on him every day. He's we love him so much, but he's actually Jay, who, you know, who used to be the Portuguese kid, the fourth Portuguese kid. He's Jay's nephew, so it's pretty funny to have him go with us now everywhere we go, because that connection's still there. So, and, but yeah, so I would say he's the jerk of our group, just because
Yeah.
he's with us most of the time. He takes the brunt of our beats.
our
So,
abuse.
yeah, he's our point guy.
So, all right, let's take a stroll down memory lane, run this clip, and we'll talk about it right after.
If I can beat you in a fado dance.
You want to challenge me to a fado dance? It's a funeral. Let's get ready.
Look, don't worry, man. I got everything under control. All right? We'll talk about this another time. Just take care of that girl.
Brian, I love the moves.
You know, the best thing about that was that flowing hair.
The bandana made it.
Bandana.
The bandana was
Bandana
good.
was
That
everything.
was an old sketch there.
That was
Very
an
old.
That
old-
was
That's before you guys were actually the Portuguese Kids officially, right?
yeah, we were
Yeah.
called Out of the Gutter Comedy. When we, yeah.
And the group was bigger at that time, no? Or the base has always
It
been
started
the four
off,
of you?
I think, when we first started, like early days. Yeah, we had about 7 or 8 people, but you know, it's always been us 4 with Jay as the fourth Portuguese kid. But that was always the core group. But yeah, we had like other people because we give anybody a shot.
Yeah.
If you have the drive and you think you want to do it, we open the door for anybody. You know, and that's one thing that we've always been proud of. You know, like we will work with anybody that shows that they want to work with us. Sometimes it's just tough. It's not easy business. It's not easy to give up your weekends. We haven't had a weekend off in God knows. You know, it's like we work retail, really. You know, so.
A lot of people don't realize this, but this is your full-time job, right?
Yeah.
For the 3 of you?
Yeah,
For-
almost 5 years now, going full time.
So what made you finally make that decision? Listen, we're going to do this. We're going to take this 100%. We're going to live off of this.
A lot of it was just the amount of traveling that was happening, you know, and we were taking so much vacation time and holiday time from work, and you know, Derek kept telling us, he's like, look, guys, if we don't try to do this on a full-time scale, something's going to give, and it's either going to be you losing your jobs or the Portuguese Kids doesn't take off, and you know, we one day we just decided to say, hey, look, this is the date we're going to quit our jobs and take this on, and then you know, convincing our parents that it was a good idea, because that's not easy to do.
That must be a great reaction.
Mid-20s, our parents still have
Our
to do
parents
this.
still had some type of controls on our lives, you know. And it was a big sacrifice. It was a big sacrifice, you know, to tell your family, even like, you know, my wife, and being like, look, I'm leaving this to go into the unknown, you know. And there's nothing to base it on. We don't have any friends who are like, hey, you started your own comedy troupe and it's full time and you're paying your bills. How'd you do it? You know, we just did it, you know.
Well,
we just.
you guys were innovators. I mean, you were the first to take this to another level. I mean, there have been other Portuguese comedians throughout the years. No Luso-American comedians. I think there was maybe 1 or 2, but did it as a part-time gig. I mean, you guys were the first ones to take this to a whole different level. 5 years into it as full-time jobs. Any regrets so far?
Oh, absolutely no.
None
No,
at
I mean,
all.
I don't think either of us was choose to go back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And choose to go back.
Could
to
we
what
have done a
did.
couple things differently? Maybe,
Oh, absolutely.
Sure,
I think
sure,
everybody
we would.
lives
Yeah,
lives
you know?
that and says to themselves, "Yeah, I should have done it
Yeah.
that way." But
I have no regrets.
no,
personally,
we're
you know?
we're really happy. You know, it's a result of following your dream. You
Yeah.
know, and doing something you're passionate about. And when you can do that, you're always on the right track. You're never going in the wrong direction. You're always, you know, where you want to be, and you're going where you want to go. So,
How many countries have you guys performed in now?
countries?
Okay, obviously United States, Canada,
1, 2,
Bermuda,
3,
Portugal,
4, 5.
Australia. 5.
5 countries.
Never been to South Africa yet? I'm
Working
sure you
on
must
that.
have a
Oh,
following
yeah,
there,
yeah.
right?
We are trying to get to South Africa and the UK as well.
South Africa, UK. That's pretty much the next frontier for us is South Africa, UK. We're going back to Australia this September. So yeah, I mean we're blessed for sure, and we're blessed that we get to travel and see the world. You know, it's just so many places that we've been able to like visit because of the Portuguese Kids. Like so forever, I'll be grateful for that because I mean we've gone to Hong Kong. Like you know, you find places that you can stop and on the way here or there, and we've done Switzerland and so it's like we're blessed. We're so blessed, and the only thing that we wish we could do is bring our families with us, but we can't. So we went
I
out
mean,
partying.
that must be
instead,
tough,
like
but it
rock
must be
stars.
great to have that must be tough, but it must be great to have spouses who understand this and support you throughout, right?
Sure,
Thank
absolutely.
God.
Yeah.
Thank God. Because like Derek said, we're working every weekend. So we are missing, you know, you're missing the festas at home, you're missing, you know, the first communions with families, you're missing a birthday party. You give up a lot.
Yeah.
We've given up a lot. And, you know, a lot of people, they're always like, oh, you're so lucky to do this. It seems so easy, but they don't know that, like, there's a lot of sacrifice.
My
and
son
we are,
calls me Jim.
yeah, doesn't even know your name.
What I look like.
But you know, these guys, I mean, it rings true for all of us, and it rings true, I think, especially for the people that don't get the recognition, which are the ones that we leave behind.
Exactly.
You know, we sacrifice, they sacrifice, but we're living this dream. We're going out, we're having this experience, and they're back home, you know, missing us and holding things up. while we're away. So
I
they
have
don't
to-
get credit for what they go through.
And absolutely, they deserve all the credit.
Yeah.
You know, these guys are nothing, really. I'm telling you. It's the wives and the girlfriend at home and the kids that mean everything, all right? So you have them to thank now. But truly, it is. Something I have to ask you guys, going to Portugal. Now, it's one thing performing for people of Portuguese descent, our generation, people who live the immigrant life. But going back to Portugal and performing, how was that reaction?
It's even, you ever hear the term big in Japan?
Yep.
That's how it feels like when we're in San Miguel, okay? It's the weirdest thing. And we figured it out because it's Facebook, obviously. And to them, it's like, this is how our cousins live. Isn't this funny? You know, because even to them, you got, like, remember, like, you go back to, like, San Miguel, for instance, you know, like the Azores. You know, they don't make their own chorizo, right? They don't even make their own wine anymore. They have evolved from that.
Yeah.
But our parents' generation, they took that with them and they still hold on to that. So like Al's dad still makes his wine. Like, so I know people that make their own chorizo, pimenta moída, all that stuff that they buy at the store. So they even get a kick out of that because to them it's also nostalgic for them as well. But for the most part, they're like, you know, this is how our family lives out there. But they pull us over. They run us down in the streets when we're in San Miguel. It's the craziest thing ever. I don't even know. We can't explain it. Like, it throws us off. Like, me and Al are walking down one day, like, people are beeping at us, Portuguese kids. I'm like, this is madness. Like,
And we ask them where they're
Yeah.
from, and they're like, down the street or next one.
it's weird.
Oh, you guys live here. You're fans from here, and it's great. It's great to see.
Speaking of where you're from, I'm sure there's a Tia Maria at home saying, whose kids are they?
Yeah.
Right? Whose kids are they? Where are they from? Derek, your background?
Both of my parents are from the beautiful island of Santa Maria.
Both.
Both of my parents.
I thought you had a San Miguel.
My
ribbon
great
there.
grandfather was born
There you
in Sant Antônio Alem Capelas, but I grew up in the same neighborhood as these guys, and
So he's
everybody.
honorary Michelangelo.
So you were the
I'm
oddball
honored.
in
Yeah.
Fall River.
I was.
Santa Maria
But
in
in
Fall
our
River.
neighborhood,
But you
it's
know
like-
what? He was the Kagaru in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We needed that.
We needed
you know?
one on the cliff.
And Al.
My parents are both from San Miguel, and they both were born and raised in the freguesia of Água Retorta.
Very good.
Yeah.
And Brian?
Both my parents are from San Miguel. My dad is from Capelas, and my mom is also from Água de Torta.
Awesome. What's the worst crowd you've performed for? There's always that crowd that no matter what you do, they're just not going to react.
There was a
Where
show.
that?
There was a show we did at the Eagle in Fall River. This was way back when we were.
I can pick up worse than that.
Yeah, well, this is just one of them. We have a few, but mine, the one that sticks out to me, this is one of them, was we were out of the gutter comedy, so we had a larger group of people. We had more people in the group, and we were doing the show, was falling on deaf ears because we were opening up for a band, which is a bad idea because nobody's there for the comedy show, they're there for the bands. So we're doing this bit, and nothing's hitting, and then somebody threw a popsicle. Somebody threw it.
Wow.
The funny thing is, they weren't serving food, so somebody brought food to the show to throw at us. Somebody threw a popsicle at us, and let me tell you, it was fresh, and I ate it. Thank you.
I was going to say the New Bedford show.
We all have
years
ours.
ago, we had a bad show at New Bedford Sports. Great people there, but just the crowd was just happened to be the worst crowd we ever had. They had kids. They let the kids go on stage. I kid you not. They let the kids go on stage like it was just like
You
romper
want
room.
Portuguese kids? These are
Yeah,
Portuguese
yeah.
kids.
Well, I almost got real Portuguese on them and beat the hell out of the kid. I was like, get out of here.
That was
I
funny
think the
because
kick-
they
the kicker
actually
on that?
sang Happy
Happy
Birthday.
Birthday.
Yeah.
We were doing a funeral sketch.
And in the middle of the show, somebody came out with a cake.
Parabéns a
Just singing
você.
Just
Happy
that is a sketch in its own, right?
That right
believe
there
it.
was probably my nightmare show. That was my nightmare show.
And amazing. And they're close to home. I would think that, there's a bad show somewhere.
No, you know,
Far
actually,
away.
We have them from time to time, and we have moments like out on the road where things are off and stuff. But we think, I don't know, it's just by sheer luck, I guess, or coincidence that some of the more disasters of shows happen to be
Locally.
closer to home.
we also do more shows locally,
Yeah.
so that's probably why.
True,
Because when we do we do a show abroad, like, or even in California, for instance, they appreciate that we're out there. Because we'll do like the smaller towns, and
Yep.
that's they always say no one comes to us. We got to go, we got to drive, so we go to them, and so they appreciate it more. So
Let's watch the next clip here. This is pretty much what made you guys burst out into the social media scene and go international. Let's check this out.
Yeah. When I'm at the store, I wanna pay less, but I wanna get more. I look for the sale. I got a quintal where I grow my kale. Yeah. Some people call me just another cheap Portuguese. If it's for free, then it's for me. No, I don't like to spend money now.
Girl, look at that paycheck. Girl, look at that paycheck. Girl, look at that paycheck.
I work a lot.
Girl, look at that paycheck. Girl, look at that paycheck. Girl, look at that paycheck.
I work a lot.
Yeah, I work second shift, 7 days a week. I own a single family house and 3 rental properties. I got money in the bank, cause I'm never gonna show it, show it, show it, show it.
I'm Portuguese and I know it. I'm Portuguese and I know it.
So that was all. I mean, I remember seeing this the day you guys released it. I'm like, wow. Because until that point, it was basically only Saturday Night Live that would do parody music videos.
Right.
It had never been done in the Portuguese community. That was, and that wasn't even thought about at that point. But SNL started something like this. Then you saw other groups start doing this, but you guys were virtually the first in this area to ever do something like that. Why? What made you say, we're going to do this?
Well, we actually had done one other parody before this. We did Adam Sandler's The Thanksgiving song.
The Hanukkah song.
I'm sorry, the
Christmas
Hanukkah song.
Christmas
We did
song,
we did a Portuguese version
Yep.
of that. And I remember like Phone 107 played a clip on air, and I remember like really like, whoa, this is huge for us. And that's kind of like what inspired that idea of doing more of
Yeah.
that, because people, I feel like Portuguese people, especially like people from our generation, like kids, first generation Americans or Canadians that have immigrant parents, we are so underrepresented in pop culture. There's just nothing for us, you know? And I think that's why we catapulted into that area, like that height of fame, because people like, well, finally something for us, you know? And like every single day, every day, we have people that email us or message us on Facebook, you guys should do a parody of this or that. It's like people just love parodies, and they like the idea of this Portuguese thing, you know, like it's because it's ours. It's, you know, we use our language in it, and it becomes very much like, you know, you don't understand this. This is, you gotta be Portuguese to get it. Even though you don't, people still say that to us, like, oh man, you gotta be Portuguese to get it. You really don't, you know, like that's why Mexican comedians, they do the same things that, you know, like I'm seeing them on stage. We have Koreans come up to us and say their parents do the same exact thing. That's true. But we don't realize that, right? And as fans of the Portuguese Kids, they always say like, they feel like we're theirs, and we love that because we are theirs. You know, we are nothing without our fans. So parodies definitely made the Portuguese Kids who they are. We still do them. We just launched one last week. We did A Kiss for All, which is a parody of Little Mermaid's Kiss the Girl. So we're always thinking of different ideas.
So how difficult is it to come up with material? I mean, it's not easy.
It's not.
It's not. No.
A lot of it just.
Throw a lot of ideas at the wall.
Yeah, you know, we pull things from you know, our own experiences, and then, you know, we just see something in the news, or you're watching stuff online. We're always surfing, you know, every social media, you know, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're always seeing what's happening. Even like when the iPhone 10 was announced, and they had the emoji commercials with just like, you know, the faces were singing. I was like, hey, let's do one with the Apita Comboio, but it'll be like, you know, the pigs singing it with the roosters, and like, you know, we try to stay fresh and keep up with things. You know, what's current, what's going on in the news.
Right.
Where do you think your biggest fan base is? I mean, because you guys can kind of have a feel for that with social media, right?
Well, I mean, I think if you think like
Outside of here,
country, I mean, the United States is big, obviously, but they're just big pockets. Obviously, New England is a huge one, but the Toronto area and then Bay Area, California. I mean, those are of our calendar and where we travel throughout the year. We go back and forth to California and Canada almost half the year, going back and forth.
Guys, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back with some drama. I think every great interview has to have drama. Let's go to the course. Voltaremos com os Portuguese Kids logo a seguir este intervalo. Fiquem connosco.